Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. Today's video going to be looking at MMAT and MMTLP and looking at a post from George Palikaras looking at fractional shares, potentially billions of fractional shares. I'm going to be asking the question, will billions of fractional shares give us a resolution of $4,000 per share? We're also going to be looking at nuclear stocks and in particular NNE, which was there was huge news called in the Discord, so stay tuned for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, we can see from Market Watch here that as Bitcoin nears $100,000, investors are asking whether the rally can last much longer. So I believe Bitcoin went in excess of $99,000, very close to $100,000, and right now at time of editing it's come down to approximately $96,000, and I do expect it to break the $100,000 mark very soon. So another news here from Ian Jager shared with regard to Mike Getz, and the quotation from Mike is he is looking at planning to expose members of Congress for insider trading, corruption and betrayal to the American people. Hopefully that does materialize into some fact. And shout out now to Gary Gensler and Elon Musk, and what Gary has stated is on January the 20th 2025 I will be stepping down as SEC chair. So again, congratulations to everybody who has been asking for this. So that is certainly coinciding with the new government coming into place in America, and Elon Musk has stated with a question, is it true that the SEC only works 1 day a month in the office? So I think that's a serious question from Elon, and probably not a fan of Gary as well. And Curtis has stated, correction here, just because they go into the office 1 day a month does not mean they are actually working. They could be looking at inappropriate websites, I'm sure. So let's have a look at the press release from the SEC, and they state here the SEC chair Gensler is to depart the agency January the 20th 2025. And I think what's interesting here is in the third line down they've stated he began his tenure on April the 17th 2021, immediately after the GameStop market events, and we know how controversial that was, and especially with regard to allegations of the buy buttons being the sell buttons being removed at certain stages. And at the bottom, I think what's also interesting from the SEC point of view, they stated to lower cost and risk in the treasury markets, the SEC adopted rules to promote central clearing and narrow circumstances in which broker dealers are exempt from National Securities Association registration, and these reforms will lower risk and enhance efficiency throughout the entirety of the US capital market. And I think actions from this point of view do not certainly seem to be speaking louder than words. And finally, let's have a look at a week look ahead to the week for earnings. Remember, market is closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday, and the market is also on Black Friday only operating on half a day. So in particular, the stocks that we're looking at for earnings will include Zoom, Dell, Macy's, DKS and ANF. Let's start by having a look at ticker symbol NNE, also known as Nano Nuclear Energy. And news shared in the Discord from MSN is that Nano Nuclear stock soars on the DOE veteran appointment. So overall good news here. And other good news for Nano Nuclear Energy is that in 2024 they have raised overall approximately $70 million, and recently also raised $40 million. So if we have a look at the chart for NNE, we can see here closed the week up in excess of 14.8% at $33.60. And in the Discord we shared again breaking news with regard to all of the nuclear stocks doing well, including NNE, OKLO, SMR and many others. And the other one you can see in the Discord that we shared was Rocket Lab also hitting an all-time high. So Nano Nuclear also did hit an all-time high as well. But if we have a look at the chart for Rocket Lab, another stock featured on a number of occasions on the channel, it also continued and finished on a high on the Friday at $23.26. So congratulations to everybody in RKLB. Let's now look at an interesting post from George Palikaras with regard to MMAT and MMTLP in terms of fractional shares, and what he stated here in terms of some interesting stock stats and CUSIPS for MMAT and MMTLP. So he states here in June 2023 and June 2022, approximately 60 plus broker dealers, and the largest broker dealers by number of accounts held in street name were first of all Fidelity, then TD, then Schwab, then E-Trade, and then TradeStation. So he goes on to say what is interesting is that the existence of fractional shares under MMAT, there were only 4 broker dealers who offered fractional shares, and these were Apex, Drive Wealth, TD, Schwab, and Vanguard, and each one with different decimals. So Drive Wealth was 5 decimals, TD was 3 decimals, and Schwab was 1 decimal. So MMTLP was just one who traded fractional shares, and that was Apex, and the fractional position for that was 5 decimal points. So what he states here is that is interesting is that there was an interesting coincidence that Drive Wealth transactions were registered under the same address, and that's in Jersey City, New Jersey, and they held over 1,100 accounts with fractional shares. So he's basically saying if we look at 1/150th of a share, then they owned approximately 0.00002 shares. So again, you may think that's not relevant, but I think what George goes on to say is that basically he states here, looking back at the filings, you can find that per the terms of the TRCH and MMAT metamaterials transaction, it stated that in no event shall any fractional torchlight shares or exchangeable shares be issued under the plan of arrangement. So it looks like potentially, or should we say allegedly, a breach of this statement here. And he goes on to say, of course, AST were well aware and fully complied with this formula. So on day 1 post-merger June 28, 2021, there were 0 fractional shares on either side. However, I believe the situation did change, and what George goes on to say in his second part here is, first of all, the question is who regulates how many decimal points you are allowed to trade on fractional shares? Why not set up a fraction at 1/1,000,000th or 1/1,000,000,000th? Now he's not saying that this is happening, he's saying this is a question. And the reason why he's saying this is a question is, where does it stop? Who stops it? How are such shares reported to the DTCC, and is this actually being regulated or looked at? And why isn't every retail friendly broker dealer showing up in our NOBOs with similar tons of fractional share accounts? So I think very interesting questions here, and I'm going to jump on to the latest post from George, who goes on to say, first of all, the number discussed was in reference to the possible size of fractional shares. It's got nothing to do with the number of trades conducted in MMTLP, which alone could actually be billions, if not hundreds of billions of fraudulent trades. And I think all of us certainly know that. And he goes on to say there are many issues that have experienced this kind of manipulative HFT tactics. So let's now get a reaction here from AK Dallas, who states, question for the MMTLP community, did anyone have an account that actually showed fractional shares ownership of MMTLP? Nextbridge Hydrocarbon shares, he's got some clarifications because he was initially confused as well, so feel free to ask questions. So again, a very important question there. I'm going to finish off by giving a shout out to Chris MP, who's now talked about fractional shares, and he states again in terms of the overselling, he says if we are oversold 5 billion shares as an example, if they do a settlement at what I think would be sort of fair, a figure of $4,000, that would be $20 trillion. He believes it should be higher, and honestly doesn't care what happens to anyone, any company, or in terms of the market, and that we are owed at least this. So right now I think we're not close to getting a resolution of that figure or any figure right now, because I think there is uncertainty in the SEC. There is obviously going to be a change of government from January, and I think many people are holding their hopes up high for something positive from that once that happens. Finally, I'm going to finish off by giving a quick shout out to our weekly watches. In the previous week we called out SMCI as certainly as a stock to watch with regard to news in terms of the delisting, and that was up 65.4% on the week, so there was a chance to get this below $20, and it went in excess of $30, and right now still trading in excess of $30. So congratulations to everybody who got into SMCI. We also called out AZI, that was up 52% Monday to Tuesday, good chance there to take profits, and also up 7.6% on the week. BE, Bloom Energy, another stock we were watching, again did exceptionally well, up 21% on the week. LUNR, again another stock that we were carefully watching in the Discord and also covered on the channel on a number of occasions, and did exceptionally well, 23.8% up on the week. CMP was up 1.3%. Nvidia, again in terms of earnings, there was earnings overall was positive, however the perception with regard to future outlook led to a mixed response from the market, but it was still up 1.9% on the week. SPPL, again, good opportunity to take profits Monday to Tuesday, up 30%, also up 4% on Friday, but overall down 3.2% on the week. So not all calls are successful, and it's always good to take profits. Finally, if you would like to get a copy of our next weekly watch list, as well as a copy of our daily stock alerts, and join us in the Discord in our live trading channel, and also get the opportunity to ask questions, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.